Austin, let's go over your research paper, and you can see right here how I graded it. I was looking for an LY in your intro and an LY in your conclusion, and I only found one LY in your intro, not in your conclusion. Did not find any who, which, or www.asia, quality adjectives, or strong verbs in your intro and conclusions. And that is one thing about your paper. Your introductions and your conclusions just weren't as well developed as they could have been. And I know if you would have known the whole process going into it, I think you would have been able to develop them more. So we're just going to move on, and we may come back to writing another research paper later in the year, just to make sure you can develop it now that you know the whole steps to get through it. Capitalization, spelling, punctuation, and usage were fine. Your intro went from general to specific, and it's good visualization. Intro moved towards thesis. You had a 3-point thesis. We'll discuss the oil company's fears. You were able to define what your paper's about. The organization was good. Just the only thing that I saw was that your introduction and conclusions could have been a little more developed, and your paragraphs need to be indented. And another thing, I'm not sure how this happened. On your running head, the page number didn't change. So I don't know when you did your running head if you simply wrote in Fleer1 and didn't actually use the page number function. When you use the page number function, it should change the number. See how that started with number 2? So be sure you use that page number function. As you write longer essays, it'll be important to be able to keep it in order. So we're going to leave research, informational, expository writing for a while, and we're going to move on to descriptive writing. And descriptive writing is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to describe something. And I'm going to start with some techniques for descriptive writing, and we're going to practice those in a short form. But be thinking about something you can describe. I remember your sister Sierra described for her descriptive essay going with your mother to get a root canal. It was a great essay. So it doesn't have to be something absolutely wonderful. Just think about something that you could describe. So be paying attention to the things going on around you. I'm going to open up a new document here so I can write. I find writing easier than typing for some reason. The techniques we're going to use for descriptive writing include all the senses. So for descriptive writing, when you write, you're going to include what you see, what you hear or sound, what you smell, what you can taste, and what you can touch or feel, or how it touches and feels. Now you may not be able to actually taste whatever you're going to describe, but that's where metaphors and similes come in. So these are the things you're going to be focusing on. All the senses. And you may need to do that by including metaphors and similes. Another good technique for descriptive writing is alliteration. You've got to think about how to spell it, alliteration. And remember, alliteration is just the repeating of syllables. Not syllables, but consonants. And actually initial consonants. Like the sun shine at the seashore, something like that. And we're also going to work on analogies and personification. And just to review, an analogy is when you make a comparison, and a personification is when you give something a person-like quality that is not alive. And that's one of my favorites. I like to use personification. And so for your first writing assignment, I want you to think of something that you can describe, and I think it's easiest if you pick a meal or something that you're going to eat. And let me get another piece of paper here. And let's say you are eating. I remember a student went out to eat, I think at the Red Barn, and did an excellent descriptive essay of the food and the smells and the people. So be thinking about something like that. Say you're eating an orange and you've never held an orange. You might say, um, it felt firm in my hands as I rolled it around. I took a knife and pierced the thick skin. The smell, I'm trying to think of a good verb, because remember, verbs are everything, especially in descriptive writing. The smell assaulted me as I peeled back the skin to reveal a white membrane surrounding the orange. I want to say flesh, but that's probably not the best word. And I haven't said that I'm eating an orange. As I rolled it around, I'm already wanting to edit it. And so this is what I want you to do. I want you to pick something, and I don't want you to tell me what it is. It felt firm in my hands as I rolled it around several times. I don't want to say in my hands again. I took a knife and pierced the thick skin. The smell assaulted me as I peeled back the skin to reveal white membrane surrounding the orange flesh. My fingers were covered in liquid, how about juice, as I separated you just kind of have to think through it. But I haven't said I'm eating an orange yet. And hopefully, if you were reading this, you would be able to tell that I was eating an orange. So I want you to think of something you can eat. And it would be especially nice if it's something that you're trying for the first time. Sorry about that. That always pops up when I'm doing this. If something you're trying for the first time, if you're trying lobster for the first time, or if you have a special, with Thanksgiving coming up, a special food that you get to eat once a year that you look forward to, that you could describe. And I want you to focus on using sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch and feel. And say you can't hear it. Well, that's when a simile might come in handy. You can't hear the orange, but you might say it sounded like, I don't know what it could sound like, a tearing of paper as I separated the sections. And I want you to Include all these 5 senses to the best of your ability, even if you have to use a metaphor or simile. And that's going to be our assignment for this week, is just to describe something. Take a paragraph or a page, however long you need it to be, to get it all in. Do not tell me what you are describing. I want to see if I can figure it out. So when you write it with the idea that I'm going to have to be able to visualize what you're doing. And we're going to start from there. So that's with our descriptive writing. We pull in our senses, and we use some other strategies like the metaphors, similes, alliteration, analogy, and personification. Don't worry too much about the analogies and personification for this short essay, but work on getting all those senses in. That's the end of the video.